Hello and welcome back to this tutorial. In this video, we are going to be learning how to use Twilio to automate text messages. Okay, so Twilio is a library that allows you to use Python to send text messages and emails, WhatsApp messages. You can also use it to send OTP verification across platforms. Okay, so without further waste of your time, we are going to just go on to start working with Twilio. So the first thing that we are going to do is that we are going to create a Twilio account. So I'm going to go to my browser and I'm going to type Twilio, into my search bar. And this is the official website of Twilio, twilio.com. And now I am going to create a brand new account. So I'm going to use Google to create this account. All right, so I'm coming to this login. So I'm going to click on this messaging, voice, and verify. So now that I'm here, I have not signed up with this email. So I'm going to just click on sign up. And as you can see, I have to enter my data, but I'm going to choose to use my Google to sign up. So I'm going to just click on that and I'm going to use this account and I'll click continue. So I'm going to try to enter my phone number and I'm going to opt for an SMS. So now I have a verification. So I'm going to quickly authenticate my registration and I'm going to click verify and I'm going to copy this code and keep it safe. Then I'll hit on continue. And I'm going to choose to go with the trial version. So I'm going to fill in some of these options. I'm going to just fill in all of this, click on next, and I want to use code to view Twilio, and I can choose to go for verification, right? And then click on next. So for now, I'm going to just choose SMS. And now that is your basic setup. And once you are in your Twilio console, there are a few things you should take note of. First of all, you have to scroll down to get this account SID and auth token. And another thing is that you are going to generate a Twilio phone number. So you are going to click this add button and you're going to click on the services you would want to manage with your Twilio account. So for now, I'm just going to click on notifications. And as you can see, I have a phone number that has been assigned to me. So this is a visualization of how the Twilio API works. And for now, I'm going to close this. So back to my console, I now have 3 items down here. I have this account info and auth token. Then I have this phone number. So I am going to copy the 3 of them and I am going to store them in my workspace. So I just copied the SID and I'm going to save it in capital letter SID and I'm going to set it to the SID. Okay, then the second one, I am going to copy the auth token and I am going to also save it in my workspace. So, and I'm going to call it auth token. But for now, I am not going to paste it here. I am going to set these, I'm going to set them up in my environmental file. So I'm going to just move these 2 items and I'm going to set them up in my environmental file. So I believe you know how to set up your environmental variables. So I will do that quickly and also set the phone numbers that I'll be using and I will get back to you in a minute. Okay, so right now I have saved my SID, my auth token, and this phone number in my environmental file. And I have also saved the phone number that I want to be using to test the configuration in my environmental file. Okay, so you can set them up. I believe you know how to set up your environmental file. So the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to jump into our Visual Studio Code and we are going to start configuring them. So the first thing that we are going to do is that we are going to send a random message to the phone number, and we are going to be importing Twilio. So I'm going to just write my import statement, import Twilio, and I'm also going to import OS, and also I'm going to import the .env so that we can use it to load our environmental variable. So I'm going to import .env, right? So the next thing that I am going to do is that I am going to load my environmental variables, the ones that I'll be using. So I am going to access the SID. So I'm going to call it SID here, and I'm going to set it to os.get env. And what I used to save it there is just SID. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to be needing the SID, the token, the phone number that Twilio gave me, and that is going to be the from phone number, and also the phone number that I'm going to be testing it. So I'm going to duplicate this into 3 places. So the second one, I saved it with token. So I'm going to change it to token here, and I'm going to change this to capital letter token. Then this, so I'm going to call this from number underscore number, and I saved it with Twilio number. And the next thing I'm going to do is to configure for the phone number I'll be using to testing. So I'm going to call it phone number, and I saved it with to underscore number. Okay, so we have all of our environmental variables here, and the next thing that we are going to do is to modify this our import statement. So the correct import statement is from twilio.rest. We'll be importing client. Okay, so we are going to be using this client to send the notifications. So we are going to create an instance of that client, and we're going to call it client with small letter. And we are going to set it to an instance of the client class, and we are going to pass in the SID and the token. So here we have SID and token. Okay, the next thing that we are going to be doing is that we are going to call in the method that is going to help us send mail with this client. So and we are going to save it as message. So we are going to say message is equal to this small letter client dot messages dot create. Then we are going to pass in some certain parameters, and in here we are going to pass in the body, and that is going to be the body of the text. So I'm going to write it, this is a text message, and then I'm going to say from, and this from is going to just be my from number. So I'm going to pass in my from number here, and the next thing I am going to pass in to, and I'm going to pass in my tool number. And that is it. You have practically configured your Twilio for sending messages. And also we are going to load this our environmental variable. So, and we are going to write the correct import statement here. So we are going to say from .env, we are going to import load env, right? So the next thing we are going to do is to call that function load env, and we are going to run this. Oh, okay, we are having this error because we saved our file with twilio.py. So I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to call it twilio message.py. Okay, so, and I'm going to save this and run. So here in my phone, I just received a notification, and it says this is a test message, right? So this is how you can configure Twilio to send messages for you. All right, so assuming you have multiple numbers, you can just pass them as a list, and it will be able to send in for multiple numbers. And also you can change this from underscore to another variable that is called messaging service ID. So you can just, instead of this from, you can just say messaging service ID, and this will serve the same purpose. Okay, so I'm going to place this from back. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to create an authentication instance, and we are going to comment this line out, and what we are going to do is, instead of just sending a normal message, we want to use Twilio to send OTP. So I am just going to create the method, because you already have this instance. So we are going to create the method that will send OTP for us. So I can call it OTP verification, and I'm going to set it to this client dot verify dot services. And here you are going to need something else called the verification ID, right? So I am just going to create a variable here and call it verify underscore ID, and I'm going to set it to nothing for now, and I am going to pass it in here. Okay, so, and I'm going to call another method on this verify ID. So I'm going to pass in another method here. So I'm going to pass in dot verifications dot create, and I am going to enter the phone number that I want to send that verification to. So I'm going to say to, and my tool is definitely going to be my toll number, and I'm going to pass in another variable here, another parameter here called channel, and I'm going to pass in SMS as a string. So this command is meant to send an OTP to the phone number that you passed, and we are going to be needing another data from Twilio, and to get that we are going back to the browser to get it from Twilio. So where we are going to get it is when you come to this verify and you come to services, you click on this create verification. So we are going to give it a name. So I can call it name and continue. So I'm going to take this verification ID and I'm going to paste it in my environmental file. So I'm going to get back to you after I do that. So, and here I'm going to use my os.get and get the verification ID. So in there I called it verify, and now we can create a verification check. Okay, but before that we are going to prompt an input. So I'm going to set it to OTP, and I'm going to set it an input field, and here I'm going to type in a string, enter OTP, and I'm going to give a little space. Okay, so, and again I'm going to create an instance of this so that after the SMS is sent I can check if the SMS was correct. So, and again I'm going to use almost exactly what I did here, and this time around instead of verifications of create, I'm going to do verification underscore checks dot create, and then here I'm going to have the toll number and the code as the OTP variable that I created. So it's going to be the OTP. Okay, so now I'm going to run this, and now it's prompting me to enter the OTP that was sent. So an OTP was sent to me, and the number is 714901. So we can now see that the verification was successful, but Twilio is warning us that we should use another version. So I can decide to go for the version 2 by entering the services, the verify.v2.the-services. Okay, so this is the most current verification method, and if we run this again we are not going to get this warning. And after the verification is successful, I am going to just write an if statement. So, and I will say if verification, I'm going to just write a print statement that says verification was successful. So I'm going to run this, and I have another OTP. So I have this 886883. So, and we just have this simple message that says verification was successful. So that is how you can use Twilio to automate your messages and also to send OTP verification to your clients. So thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.